Hey there, welcome to a basic tips video brought to you by the Center for Behavioral Health Sciences, an introduction to reinforcement. In this video, we're going to briefly look at the term reinforcement and why understanding effective reinforcement delivery can have a huge impact on behavior. Now, before we begin, I want you to consider the following quote. If you want to see more of something, reinforce it. So, what exactly is a reinforcer? Well, to start, it's individualized to each person. A highly preferred item for you may not be the same item for me. You may love chocolate ice cream, but I'm not a fan of ice cream. I'd prefer chips. So consider this scenario. A child engages in disruptive behavior such as throwing an object at someone. Ever look at them and they're staring back at you with a big smile and grin on their face, only for them to throw another object? That look you just gave them may just be reinforcing them for a behavior you do not wish to see. How about a laugh? If you told a joke to a bunch of friends and no one laughed, would you tell that joke again? Maybe. What if you told it to one more group? What if they didn't laugh? Would you tell it again? Probably not. Take note that when you repeated your joke to two different audiences and neither of them laughed, you stopped using the joke. Therefore, your behavior to share that joke was not reinforced by laughing. In order for something to be reinforcing, it needs to increase the likelihood for desired behavior to occur again. So when an audience laughs at a joke, we're more likely to repeat that joke again. If your eye contact or verbal comments to an individual follows an inappropriate behavior, only for that behavior to occur again, maybe what is reinforcing that behavior is the eye contact or verbal comment, even though it's an inappropriate behavior. It's so important that you know a reinforcer isn't just an item, place, or activity. It really can be as simple as eye contact, a laugh, or any verbal communication. Let's look at a couple of examples of reinforcement that look a bit different to increasing the likelihood of a preferred behavior. First, let's start with something we're all willing to do something for: money. Whether it be showing up to work, helping a neighbor with an outside task, or doing a chore, the reward or reinforcer usually is money. And if it's not, think about what reinforcers you have received as a result of performing one of these tasks. Someone is providing you with something that is significant, enough to keep you coming back to perform the required tasks. But what if you request an individual to do a chore? The individual performs the chore, you provide the item, in this case money, for a job well done. The next day or week, you ask the same chore to be completed, and the individual doesn't do it when asked. This means the money you gave the individual the day or week prior wasn't meaningful or substantial enough for them to complete the task when requested. Just because we are willing to work for less in certain situations doesn't mean others will, and when we're looking to increase the likelihood of a desired behavior, this must be remembered. With this type of reinforcer, you are gaining something, obtaining something of significance, of value. So sometimes we gain a reinforcer for engaging in a desired behavior. But what about this example? What happens when you get into a vehicle, turn on the ignition, and start to drive? I'll give you a moment to think. What step did I miss? Buckling up the seatbelt. Bingo. You didn't put on your seatbelt, and what follows when we don't put our seatbelt on? That annoying beeping starts going off, warning us something is wrong. There are seatbelts that need to be done up. So, what do? Even if you didn't want to buckle up, what would you do to get rid of that beeping? Put your seatbelt on, no doubt. Once you put the seatbelt on, what happens? The beeping stops. In this example, you are reinforced by having something removed after you engaged in the desired behavior. More often than not, you'll buckle up the next time you get into the car before you start driving. Why? Because you know the beeping will start if you don't buckle up. In both of these instances, you are reinforced for engaging in a desired behavior that has now increased the likelihood of you continuing to exhibit the behavior. Do chores and buckle up. Now here's a quick tip. Make sure to write this down. This is important to know about reinforcement. Reinforcers are given after the occurrence of a behavior that continues to keep happening. This delivery of reinforcer is what makes the behavior likely to occur again in the future. So our first example at the beginning of the video, a child threw an object. We looked at the individual directly after. They looked back with a big smile and threw another object. We reinforced the behavior even though it was only a look. They had our attention. In the second example, we said a joke to two different groups. Neither group laughed, therefore we received no reinforcement following our jokes and we stop telling the joke. We did a chore and we received money following the task. We stop doing our chores or don't complete them, then that typically means the reinforcer used wasn't substantial enough for the amount of work done, or the reinforcer just wasn't significant enough to the individual. This is why it's important to have individualized reinforcers that have significance. Each of us has a different expectation of what we're willing to receive as a result of work done. Some are satisfied with cookies, others a high five, some the removal of other chores, and I'm sure you could think of a few of your own. Lastly, buckling up your seatbelt as a result of removing the beeping reinforces us because we will continue to buckle up so that we do not need to hear that annoying beeping sound. Every reinforcer follows the occurrence of a behavior. What makes it a true reinforcer is that the behaviors continue to happen after receiving the reinforcer. So check this out. There was a study done with a young man who engaged in high rates of aggressive behavior towards others, such as pushing, slapping, hitting, and headbutting when he was given a demand. Through the power of choice, and for those who haven't seen our video on the power of choice, be sure to check it out after this video. The individual selected options he was interested in working for, and as a result, these options became reinforcers because his aggressive behavior reduced when the options he chose were given to him following the appropriate behavior. The reinforcers he selected were a cookie and a break from the demand. This article used the power of choice to find the most effective and individual reinforcers, set the expectation for what was requested, and the delivery of the reinforcer. Researchers then followed through with the demand, and now that young man is on the right track to enhance his quality of life. Here's a take-home list to consider when selecting rewards. Effective. Is it actually increasing the likelihood of the desired behavior? Varied. Are there numerous motivating rewards to offer as a choice? Individual. Is it something the person chose themselves? When delivering rewards, is it immediate? Make sure you are providing the reward directly following the desired behavior. Is it frequent? Make sure you are providing the reward frequently at the beginning of learning a new skill or routine. Now it's your turn. Where can you begin to use reinforcers effectively in your own life and in the very individual you live or work with? With an introduction to reinforcement now completed, it's time to learn the 5 rules of reinforcement to take our understanding and application of reinforcement to the next level. Be sure to check out our video, 5 Rules of Reinforcement. We covered a lot of stuff in this video. Please rewatch as many times as you need. Our goal with these videos is to provide basic tips 24 hours, 7 days a week to those in need and maybe on waitlist for further professional help. Remember, all important links mentioned in any of our videos are found in the description box below. If you found this helpful or know anyone that may benefit from this, please do us a favor and share this video on your social media or with your family and friends. Thanks for watching.